Xmas party got wild. Wife sent me a video I can't unsee. The snow started early fat flakes clinging to the window pane like desperate lovers. My own company Christmas party, scheduled for that evening, was dead in the water by noon. David, my boss, sent out a mass email, a string of apologies punctuated by excessive exclamation points. Sarah's party, on the other hand, was still a go. Their venue has generators and snow tires. She'd said that morning, a hint of smugness in her voice. Go, have fun, I told her, meaning it. Sort of. A part of me, the insecure little voice I usually managed to keep muzzled, whispered that it was a good thing. One less opportunity for her to see me, Mark, the software engineer who still wore the same jeans from college, next to Liam, the effortlessly charming VP of sales, who always seemed to be orbiting her like a goddamn satellite. Sarah looked stunning when she left, a shimmering emerald dress clinging to her curves. She kissed me goodbye, a quick peck on the cheek that felt perfunctory. Don't wait up, she'd said, grabbing her clutch. It's going to be a late one. The house was quiet after she left, too quiet. I flipped through channels, ate leftover pizza, and tried to lose myself in a video game. But my mind kept drifting back to Sarah, to Liam, to the stupid dress. I knew I was being ridiculous, but I couldn't shake the feeling of unease. Around 10, my phone buzzed. It was Sarah. Having a blast, wish you were here Zoxo attached was a short video. It was shaky and poorly lit, clearly taken on the fly. The first few seconds were a blur of faces and flashing lights, the generic pop music thumping in the background. Then the camera panned across the dance floor, capturing snippets of coworkers laughing and swaying. And that's when I saw them. Sarah and Liam were near the edge of the frame, partially obscured by a group of people. They were close, too close. Liam's hand was on Sarah's lower back, his fingers almost disappearing beneath the fabric of her dress. She was laughing, her head tilted back, her face inches from his. For a split second, their faces were framed perfectly, and I could have sworn they were kissing, or about to. The video ended abruptly. I replayed it, again, and again, and again. Each time I zoomed in, focusing on that single, agonizing moment. Was it just the angle, the lighting? Were they really kissing? Or was it just my paranoid imagination running wild? I needed a second opinion. I texted Jessica, my friend from work, and asked if she was free for a quick video call. Jessica was sharp, observant, and brutally honest. She wouldn't sugarcoat anything. Hey, Jessica said, her face filling the screen. What's up? You look like you've seen a ghost. I need you to look at something, I said, my voice tight. I forwarded her the video. A few minutes passed. I watched as Jessica's expression changed from casual curiosity to something resembling concern. She replayed the video several times, pausing and zooming in on the same spot I had been obsessing over. Okay, she said finally. It's grainy. But yeah, it looks like they're pretty close. Hard to say for sure if they're kissing, but it's not just friendly conversation. My stomach dropped. Hearing it from someone else, someone objective, made it real. Thanks, Jess, I mumbled. I appreciate it. Hey, are you okay? She asked, her voice softening. Don't jump to conclusions, Mark. It could be nothing. Right, I said, but the word felt hollow. I didn't sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that video. I replayed the last few months in my head, searching for clues I might have missed. The late nights at the office, the hushed phone calls, the sudden interest in new restaurants Liam had recommended, it all started to add up. Sarah came home around 3 a.m., smelling of perfume and champagne. She tiptoed into the bedroom, but I was wide awake, staring at the ceiling. Hey, she whispered, sliding into bed beside me. You okay? Yeah, I said, my voice flat. Just couldn't sleep. She didn't say anything. She just turned over and closed her eyes. I lay there next to her, feeling a cold, unfamiliar distance growing between us. The next few days were a blur of anxiety and suspicion. I found myself watching Sarah, scrutinizing her every move, listening to her every word. I checked her phone when she was in the shower. I scrolled through her emails when she left her laptop unattended. I knew it was crazy, but I couldn't help myself. I needed to know the truth. I started going to her office during my lunch break, just to surprise her with coffee or a sandwich. It was pathetic, I knew, but I had to see for myself. One afternoon, I decided to bring her lunch. I called her to tell her I was on my way, but she didn't answer. Probably in a meeting, I told myself, trying to sound reassuring. When I arrived at her office building, I took the elevator to her floor. As I approached her office, I noticed the door was slightly ajar. I could hear voices inside. Sarah's voice and Liam's. I hesitated, my hand hovering over the door. I knew I shouldn't eavesdrop, but I couldn't resist. I pushed the door open a crack and listened. So glad you could make it, Sarah was saying, her voice low and intimate. Wouldn't miss it for the world, Liam replied, his voice equally soft. There was a pause, then I heard Sarah giggle. My heart hammered in my chest. David's clueless as always. Emily was practically throwing herself at him all night. Sarah laughed again, but this time it sounded forced. Just means more time for us, Liam said. I couldn't hear anything for a few moments and the silence was deafening. My hand trembled, dropping the takeout container to the floor with a thud. Both voices inside went silent. Who's there? Sarah called out, her voice sharp and wary. I froze, my breath caught in my throat. I knew I had to say something, but I couldn't find the words. Slowly, I pushed the door open. Sarah and Liam were standing near her desk, their faces flushed. Sarah's hair was slightly disheveled and Liam's tie was askew. Mark, Sarah said, her voice barely a whisper. What are you doing here? I stared at them, my mind racing. I couldn't speak. I just stood there, clutching the mangled remains of her lunch, the video replaying in my head, the pieces of the puzzle finally fitting together. Liam cleared his throat. Hey, Mark. Just going over some marketing strategies with Sarah. Big campaign coming up. He offered a weak smile. Right, I managed to say, my voice trembling, marketing strategies. The air was thick with tension, with unspoken accusations and barely concealed guilt. I looked from Sarah to Liam and back again. I saw the truth in their eyes, the truth I had been trying so desperately to deny. I should go, I stammered, backing away from the door. Mark, wait, Sarah said, taking a step towards me. Let me explain. But I didn't want to hear her explanation. I didn't want to hear her lies. I turned and ran blindly out of the office, out of the building, away from the truth I couldn't bear to face. That night, I couldn't bring myself to go home. I drove aimlessly for hours, the snow falling heavily around me, blurring the lines of the road. I ended up at a seedy bar on the outskirts of town, a place I would never normally set foot in. I ordered a whiskey neat and downed it in one gulp. The bartender, a grizzled old man with a weary look in his eyes, didn't say a word. He just refilled my glass. I sat there for hours, drinking and brooding, watching the snow fall outside. Around midnight, the bar started to empty out. The bartender came over to my table. Rough night? He asked, his voice surprisingly gentle. I shrugged. You could say that. He nodded knowingly. Sometimes life throws you a curveball. Just gotta learn to swing. I chuckled humorlessly. Easy for you to say, you don't know what I'm going through. Maybe not, he said, but I've seen a lot in my time. People come in here with all kinds of problems. Love, money, family, it all boils down to the same thing in the end. And what's that? I asked, my voice laced with sarcasm. Choices, he said simply. We all make choices, and we all have to live with the consequences. He paused, then leaned closer, heard some gossip tonight. Around 9:30, a blonde came in here alone, pretty tore up. Said her name was Emily, works for that marketing firm downtown. Kept ranting about how that Liam character was a snake. Sounded like she had a few bones to pick with Sarah too, said their close friendship was just a game to them. He gave me a meaningful look. Just thought you should know. Free advice. It is what it is, but it's the truth. He straightened up and walked back behind the bar, leaving me alone with my thoughts. Emily, a blonde. I recalled Sarah mentioning a new hire in her department. Attractive, flirtatious, and potentially carrying more information than I could ever imagine. I pulled out my phone, my fingers trembling. I found Emily's number on Sarah's contacts, saved for project. I hesitated for a moment, then pressed the call button. The phone rang. Once, twice, 3 times. Just as I was about to give up, someone answered. Hello, a woman's voice said, her tone hesitant. Emily, I asked. This is Mark, Sarah's husband. There was a long pause. I don't think I should be talking to you, she said finally. Please, I begged. I need to know the truth. About Sarah, about Liam, about everything. Another long pause. Then Emily sighed. Okay, she said softly. Okay, Mark. Meet me tomorrow. Same bar, noon, and bring a strong drink. You're going to need it. The line went dead. I stared at my phone, my mind reeling. What was Emily going to tell me? What other secrets were Sarah and Liam hiding? I had a feeling my life was about to change forever. I downed the rest of my whiskey and signaled the bartender for another. The snow kept falling, blanketing the world in a thick layer of white, a perfect metaphor for the uncertainty that lay ahead.